Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katherine Young and I'm a creative. And on this channel, we do thrifting, vintage, creative projects, and more. So if that is something you're into, please subscribe and stick around, more to come. Now today's video is a bit self-indulgent, but this is the type of video that I love to watch because y'all, I'm nosy. I love to see people's collections, outfits, earrings, vintage, anything. I love to see what people have. I love to see how people decorate their homes because apparently I'm nosy. But truthfully, I find a lot of inspiration from these type of videos. I end up seeing a lot of things that I've never seen before, and it just gives me all these different ideas for my own home and things that I could find. So I hope you enjoy this too. Now, in today's video, we are going to do some unboxings at the beginning. Going to be a couple items that are quite honestly holy grails for me, so I'm super excited. And then after that, we are going to look through my ephemera collection. We're going to just show some examples, show my favorite categories of ephemera, and there is just so much. Like I've been wanting to do this video for a long time, but honestly, I was like, oh my God, there's so much. How do I even put it in a video? So first, let's just explain what ephemera is. Ephemera means ephemeral. It means something that wasn't necessarily meant to be kept. However, some of that, part of that definition, I don't truly believe in. Also, my definition of ephemera, I think, is a lot broader than a lot of people. I might show you stuff that you'll be like, that's not ephemera, Catherine. But to me, ephemera really is anything made in a time that brings back nostalgia for a very specific time and a very specific event or a very specific idea. And so, because I kind of think of ephemera that way, it really broadens up the category. I collect ephemera simply because of the inspiration. I also think that as a artist and graphic designer, I'm really drawn to visual images. So ephemera just does that for me. And as an artist, I am a natural curator. So grabbing all these different images that inspire me and curating them and bringing them into my home is just a really natural thing to do. Now I do use the ephemera. I am wearing a necklace made out of ephemera. I actually made this necklace specifically for the Hollywood Vampires first public concert. So this is made out of pages from Dracula, the book. I also use ephemera in different art pieces. Here is a collage piece I made out of an old Nativity Mary that was being thrown out. Kind of neat. And I have lots of other ephemera artwork I have made. However, I have the hugest hoard of ephemera. Have this huge dresser just full of it. Still haven't done stuff with this, with all of this. And I'm getting to the point where I just kind of don't know what to do with all of it. And so on this channel, I've started doing ephemera shares where I share the piece with you. If you want to check that out, I will link that playlist up here. And in that way, that ephemera has life. So even if it is just in one of my drawers, people get to see it, experience it, and have the joy of the item just like I do. Okay, let's get into the unboxings, shall we? Now the first item we are unboxing is a scrapbook, and it is from Mimi's Treasure Cottage. And this scrapbook is a very particular kind of vintage scrapbook that I collect. Good. Oh goodness. Look at y'all. I'm so excited. When you see my collection, you'll see I have another one of these. I found one of these about a decade ago. So when she offered this one up for sale, I was so excited because I've never seen another one. But look at this gorgeous scrapbook. Oh, so great. And this is, in fact, a scrapbook of movie stars. So in this book, the person has done all kinds of cutouts of movie stars. Oh, so good. Susan Hayward was her favorite, so it's just full of her. Isn't that amazing? I love this so much. Now, spoiler alert for the rest of the video, I collect vintage celebrity scrapbooks. I know that's kind of an odd thing, but they're my absolute favorite. Isn't that amazing? Oh my God. So good. I love this so much. Ooh. This next item is a Grail item for me. I can't wait for you to see it. Cut through the layers of tape, tape everywhere. Ooh, I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. Oh. Y'all, this is a 1925 Lane Bryant catalog. How great is that? Lily, do you need in the video? Do you need in the video, Lily? Yeah? Come here. Come here. They always need in the video. Well, are you coming in the video or not? Come here. Come here. I wish you could see what I'm saying. She's just sitting here staring at me, rubbing her face on things, not coming up, even though she wants up. What a little jerk. Okay. Hi, pretty girl. You say hi to everybody on YouTube. Say hi. Oh, she didn't want to be picked up. All right, you can leave. Now, why this is so exciting is because this checks two boxes for me. This is a vintage catalog, and I collect vintage catalogs and magazines, and it is a vintage catalog that is specifically for plus-size women from almost 100 years ago. And I collect imagery of vintage and antique photos, images, illustrations of plus-size women, because in the vintage community there is a lot of erasure of plus-size people in the imagery. So this checks two boxes for me. And when you are seeing this video now, this will already be in an ephemera share, so go check it out. It is linked above, and I'll link it below. And yeah, you can look through this beauty with me. Okay, last item to open, y'all. Oof. Okay, so this is from Michael at The.Cult.Of.Vintage. And y'all, this is a holy grail piece for me. Cut, cut, cut. Cut, cut, cut. Oh goodness. So it looks like he wrapped this in like an old like banner to protect it, which is awesome because it's waterproof, but it's gonna take me a while to get it open. Oh, oh, maybe, maybe, no. All right. Cut, 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 cut. Cut. This is like a whole event. Part of me thinks like he did this because he knows I would do an unboxing, and he's like, haha, figure that out. Oh my lord. It is, it's like a banner for something, and I can't figure out how to unravel it. Oh, oh. Ha! Got it. All right, and then it's nicely packaged in this. So it does not bend, which I very much appreciate when I receive ephemera. I want it packaged in something nice and sturdy and rigid to protect it. Oh, there it is. Oh, you guys, I'm so excited. Okay, I think these are the last layers of tape. Let's do this. Oh my goodness, last piece of tape. It has taken me 5 minutes to open this. Oh my god, you guys, look. Look. And this isn't the good part. I mean, this is a good part. But y'all, this is full. So this is the Hallmark doll collector's album. Okay. The little girl on it basically looks like a little Drew Barrymore. Oh, I've seen these before, but I've never seen them full. Oh my God, I'm freaking out. Okay, now I know the spine and the cover of this are not attached well. So I'm gonna do the best I can to show you guys this, but it's a very fragile piece. But look, locally I can find these dolls sometimes, but only like singles, and they usually range from like $15 to $20. So the fact that this book has all of them together is simply amazing. I can't even, it's someone's full collection. They got all of them. And this couldn't have been that cheap of something to collect as a child, growing up, I would imagine. Because they were all individual things to purchase. Is that not the most amazing thing? Oh my God. So I am so excited about this. This is just truly one of my absolute favorite things. So, oh my gosh, thank you, Michael Todd. This is a special one. This is very special to me.
Okay, y'all, it's time. We are going to go through my favorite ephemera. I'm saving my very favorite for the last, but other than that, there's no real order. So here we go. We're starting with postcards.
Now, one type of vintage ephemera I super duper love is old postcards. Old antique postcards. I have so many of them. Love, love, love them. Too many to go through. I even have a huge stack of antique postcards that I inherited. They're from my family. So really, really cool thing to have. But yeah, I can't get enough of vintage postcards. I think they're so darn neat. Now, what just draws me to postcards is they're a relatively inexpensive type of ephemera to collect, and they also have some of the best imagery. I mean, just look at these. Look at the imagery on these. Super beautiful, super inspiring to me. I really like 1920s or earlier. Turn of the century is my favorite for sure, but I just love them all. So antique postcards all the way. Now, one thing you can find in postcards are actually some like weird subject matter. You can find, like palmistry like this, or kind of this odd one here where it's this combined image. Really neat. And that brings me to my next group of ephemera I really like. I like oddities, and ephemera that is just a little weird. Also, ephemera that could be macabre. Um, it's a funeral display. I just love it. I'm really drawn to it. I'm not freaked out by it. I'm not creeped out by it. There's fortune telling. I find it really beautiful and amazing. These two books, How to Read Dreams, I think I got this from Misty at Thrifter Junker Vintage Hunter. And then this one's also in the fortune telling realm. So yeah, I really love oddities. These aren't all the ones I have. I do have a postmortem photo in my collection. A lot of people are creeped out by that, think it's really gross. But to me, I am her caretaker now. I won't show her on the internet for sure. And I absolutely love it. I think it means a lot that family back then, photos were expensive. Photos were not something any family could afford. And that one last photo, that family probably really, really wished they had taken a photo that wasn't postmortem of that person. And so when I look at postmortem images, I think of them as an act of love where a family probably made a very significant financial investment on top of already the funeral and all those costs, just to have one last image of the person they loved. And to me, they're very beautiful and very special. I also love vintage advertising. I collect catalogs and magazines, so I'll show you that. Tons of advertising in there, but I love when I find like these Victorian advertising cards. These are some of my absolute favorite. This one I love. Oh my goodness. It's about a cure for asthma. I love the quackery items. This is a teeny tiny almanac. Teeny tiny. But yeah, a bookmark. I love the advertising, the Victorian advertising for stuff. I think they're beautiful. They really just inspire me. And I don't just collect Victorian advertising, even though it's my favorite. I find it to be the hardest to find. So it is definitely not the only advertising I collect. Something like this, I absolutely love. Behind me on my shelves, you might have seen this little display, and it's a little flower frog with little advertisement pieces. It even has like little tags for things, but I just love it. I really love vintage advertising on boxes. Look at that one. This is one of my favorites. Look at this. This used to be an old box cover. So gorgeous. I simply love this vintage ad. Ugh, so good. And along that line of advertising, I love any kind of like tin or box or packaging that's interesting. I love it all. Any kind of tin or box I get really excited about. I just think the graphics are so neat and so fun. And to me, I even count like old jewelry boxes and tins that don't necessarily advertise anything, that are just beautiful, as ephemera. And you may be like, that's not ephemera, Catherine. Those don't count. But like I said, I have a pretty broad range of what I consider ephemera. And so I even consider my gorgeous tramp art box to be ephemeral. Because if you look on my shelves, I love gorgeous tins just as much as boxes with old advertising. You will see all throughout my home gorgeous boxes from all eras. Now, speaking of items on my shelves, you will see books everywhere in my home. You can even see them in this video in the back. I would self-describe myself as an aspirational reader, which means I keep a ton of reference books I haven't read. I keep a ton of books that I want to read around, especially antique and vintage books. They are very aspirational for me. I may never get to them, but I also love the way they look. I absolutely love the way antique books look. But just know, like, when it comes to books, I have modern and old as well.
Hi, Lily.
Here are some favorites from my book collection. This is a really old Alice in Wonderland. It's in really bad shape. It has a lot of bookworm damage. You can see that. It's all throughout the book if you can see all those holes. So a lot of damage to this book. There is no date, no advertisements in the back to help me date, no copyright, but I do believe this is turn of the century, like 1890s. I also absolutely love this book, The Sinking of the Titanic. This is a very, very harder to find, I would say, book. Really, really cool. And what I love about this piece is whoever owned this clipped in an article about a couple from here in St. Paul, Minnesota, who were survivors. So really neat book. Love this one. And my absolute favorite book out of everything that's in here has to be this teeny tiny book. It's very small. And it is Sleepy Hollow. Now, I got this, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. I got this from Misty, Thrifter Junker Vintage Hunter. It is not in the greatest condition, but it is amazing. And let's see, let's look, what is the date on this again? I forget. Let's look. Yeah, so beautiful. Look, see, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, Headless Horseman. Such a cool book. The spine is pretty much destroyed. 1896. So I'm a Sleepy Hollow girl. I love Halloween. So this is a very prized possession of mine. And like I said, along with old books and things you can read, I love old magazines and catalogs. So just got this from Daniel at Tacky Is Me. Gorgeous. This is a Good Housekeeping 1920. A lot of these I keep in protective sleeves. That one isn't in a protective sleeve yet, but it will be. This is a delineator from the 1800s. Chicago Order Catalog. Let's see. What is the year on this? 1934. I believe this is the 1910s, another delineator. And the one I unboxed, that 1925 Lane Bryant. So I super duper love those. It's just pages and pages of inspiration. Love catalogs, love magazines. They check so many boxes for me, from beautiful imagery to ads to reading. I love it all. Now, other items you will see on my shelves are gorgeous old photos. I love old photos. I did a video where I styled a vignette of a ton of photos. I will link it up here and below. Go check that out if you want a sneak peek at even more photos than I'm showing you today. That one. Gorgeous. This one I got from Trisha at Sandy and Auto. I actually researched this photo, figured out that it was this Wisconsin Historical Society. I contacted them and asked them if they knew what this photo was from, and it turned out it hit a dead end. They didn't have this on record. They didn't know what it was, but really cool seeing all these ladies in one image, right? This beautiful girl. And this leads me into my photo collection that is a little unique. I collect images of plus size women. As I said in the beginning of the video, I do this because there is a lot of erasure in the vintage community of plus size women. I have this picture of her and then of her son. And plus size people did exist back in history. I would like to do some kind of project with these images. I love her dress. It is simply stunning. I haven't quite figured out exactly what I'm going to do with these images, but really, really cool. If I see an image of a plus size lady, it is probably something I will pick up. And now we're starting to get to some items that I use for decor in my home and on my walls. And it is vintage sheet music. I love vintage sheet music so much. I use these in decor. This is just a few of what I have. I have so many. These are some of my favorite ones. I really love the very highly illustrated ones. Those are my absolute favorites. I even have some framed sheet music. Sorry about the glare on that. This is one of my absolute favorite pieces of sheet music of all time. I will pick it up whenever I find it. So beautiful. And the next thing I use to decorate is posters. I love posters, love poster art. I have a beautiful collection of World War I era posters. Now these are very valuable, very expensive. One I bought myself that's in the worst condition. I paid near $100 for it. And the other two are actually family heirlooms. They are originals. They are some of my most prized possessions, and they are just beautiful. I love them so much. One of them I really resonate with because it talks about Americans all, and what it's really talking about is discrimination in that poster. And I just love that because discrimination makes me super angry. I have very progressive viewpoints, so I believe all people are equal. So when people make laws against different groups of people, specifically to discriminate against them, I get really upset. So I love that that poster is from over 100 years ago and is actually talking about discrimination. I think that idea that discrimination is not patriotic is a very old idea.
I also just love posters of any kind. These two Disney posters, one's an advertisement, the other one is a limited run screen print that I just love so much. I love screen printed posters. This hat's show print. Ugh, I love all the concert posters they do there in Nashville. And I just love concert posters in general. They're some of my favorite pieces of art. I don't have them up in my home the way I wish they would be, but we'll get there. I just moved in this past year, and I love concert posters like Aerosmith and Jack White and my favorite performers. You know, I just love having these works of art on my wall, as well as sometimes I make my own concert posters to pay tribute for shows I went to, like this Fargo Theater show for Jack White.
And we're getting into the home stretch, y'all. So one of my absolute favorite collections is my vintage celebrity scrapbooks. Now I did a bigger tour of this on Katie's channel, Vintage and Vinyl. I will link that below, okay? But they are one of my absolute favorite things. I know it seems super niche, but it's not super niche. Celebrity scrapbooks were actually a pretty common topic for people to scrapbook because they would buy the entertainment magazines that featured all the celebrities, and then they would scrapbook the images of their favorite celebrities. And you got to remember, movies were also a very American pastime, and people loved movie stars and they connected with movie stars. So celebrity scrapbooks are one of my absolute top favorite vintage collections. They make me so dang happy. I think they're just so inspiring and so beautiful. And I love that someone took the time to put them together. So this is one of my most cherished collections. And here's the one that I had personally before. This is not the one we unboxed. This is the one that I already had. So just gorgeous, such a gorgeous piece. And one thing I love about all these, celebrity scrapbooks is that so many people really loved Shirley Temple. You can almost not find a celebrity scrapbook that doesn't have pages featuring Shirley Temple. And I just love that because there were teens and adults that put these together and they still had love for Shirley Temple, and it still showed like how much she meant to people. So yeah, my celebrity scrapbooks are, are super special to me. So I love them so much. I might be thinking about letting some of them go at some point, but as of right now, One thing I want to quick touch on is ephemera storage. Ephemera storage is actually something I really struggle with. How to categorize it, how to make sure it's safe. Just know you can touch old ephemera with your hands. In fact, I'd recommend bare hands over gloves because with bare hands you can feel if you're going to tear a page or tear some paper. But one of my favorite things for storing vintage ephemera is putting them in vintage scrapbooks. Those are my favorite ways to store because it's just so fun. This is what they were made for, right? So I use those photo corners and I store all kinds of vintage ephemera in these books. This is a book where I have a bunch of pinups stored. Most of these pinups I found in scrapbooks, other scrapbooks that were falling apart. So, but yeah, just wanted to like show you that ephemera storage in old scrapbooks is a great way to store it. Also, these old scrapbooks, you can find them at quite a deal, and many are only partially filled out or empty. So great way to store your ephemera. And my absolute favorite ephemera that I have in my home are my personal concert scrapbooks. Now, I have 13 of these and counting, and they are scrapbooks that I have made of my adventures going to concerts. I love being front row at shows. I love documenting shows. I love documenting my experiences. And I put them all in scrapbooks. I use a lot of pop-ups. I love pop-ups. And someday I just think, here's a good Aerosmith pop-up. Gotta love Aerosmith. They're my favorite band. I've seen them 16 or 17 times now. Lots of front row experiences at Aerosmith. One day I think, and I love set lists, by the way. Set lists are probably my favorite ephemera of all time because they take me back to that night, to that actual concert. And this is the row of songs they played that night. So set lists are my absolute favorite. Some pages fold out. But someday I think that somebody in an antique store someday is going to find my concert scrapbooks and they're going to be like, wow, look at this girl. She took pictures with celebrities. So basically what I do is I make my own celebrity scrapbooks just like they did back in the day, except I have more resources and more access to go to different things. So basically, I am doing the exact same thing they did. but in my own way. And I'm sure so many of them would have loved to have met their favorite TV actors, movie actors. I think, you know, they would have loved to have met them. And so the fact that I got to meet so many of these musicians, I think will be really fun for people to see. 30 Seconds to Mars. These are really fun spreads for 30 Seconds to Mars. But yeah, so these are my absolute favorite vintage ephemera pieces from my collection. This one's really cool. This is at the Rainbow Bar and Grill, up at the lair of the original Hollywood vampires. And then this is the first public show that the Hollywood vampires put on. And such a great show. Really, really fun. I had front row seats. But yeah, well, it wasn't a seat, it was standing room only. Here's Steven Tyler in Chicago. But yeah, it is just absolutely my favorite ephemera. And like all pieces of ephemera, it calls back to an old memory, a specific time. That is exactly what my ephemera does for me. It takes me back to a certain time. Here's a Buck Cherry concert, big old pop-up. And it just, you know, it reminds me of those concerts, of those fun times. And I think that's exactly what ephemera is supposed to do. Ephemera is just something that brings you back to a certain time. So many fun memories in these books. So that is it, y'all. That is all of my favorite ephemera. Let me know below in the comments, what was your favorite ephemera that I showed? How do you store ephemera? Do you collect ephemera? Do you collect like a very specific niche? I'd love to know all of it. Like I said, I'm very nosy. And I hope you enjoyed content like this. And yeah, that's it. I hope this was a fun video for you. And I'm looking forward to reading the comments and seeing if I can learn a little bit about storage, a little bit about different ephemera types that I might not already know about. And stay creative, y'all. Bye.